Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the August 1st, 2024 Ascension Parish Council meeting. Call the meeting to order, and I'm going to ask Mr. Arsenault, please lead us in the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
God, thank you for a great day. Thank you for safe travel here. Lord, we pray you be with us as we meet tonight, and we got there to move forward. In the name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Arsenault. Item number 2, roll call. Ms. Secretary, Mr. Robert and Mr. Vornado are absent. All other members are present. Chair's edition, I just have an announcement. Our next regularly scheduled council meeting for August 15th is rescheduled to the following Tuesday. That's going to be August 20th. Ms. Bridget Hanna needs all council chambers for some poll worker training for the upcoming elections. So our next council meeting will be Tuesday, August 20th, not Thursday the 15th. And item number 4, the public comment sign-in period. If anyone would like to speak on any of the items on the agenda, please come up to the podium. We have the red and green cards. Fill that out. Whenever I get to that item, you will have 3 minutes to speak about that particular item. And number 5, Mr. President, your report, please.
Thank you, Chairman Malawson. Good evening, Council. This past weekend, we had Youth Fest in Gonzales. It was a huge success. We had over 900 children, which is actually, we went back and checked, 1,061. So we're so thankful for OxyChem, our main sponsor, and so many other sponsors that helped us with this event. It was a huge success. So this weekend, we have the same event at the WAC Center in Donaldsonville from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I encourage everyone to come out. We'll have free foods, school supplies, backpacks, uniforms, music, and much more. Again, we want to thank CF and Shell and all of our other sponsors that helped make this event successful in Donaldsonville. That concludes our report, but I have our attorney, John Paul, wants to give a little update on the Demco litigation.
Okay.
Good evening. Jean-Paul Robert, Parish Attorney. Sent you all a letter that I sent to Demco earlier today, and a lot of you are new, and this litigation has been going on for a while, and I haven't updated you this year, so I wanted to give a quick update and a little bit of a history here. Demco has a franchise with us, which allows them to come into our parish utility and road servitudes and put their utilities and operate in the parish pursuant to a franchise agreement. We are expanding a lot of roads and doing improvements, and we need to move the utilities to expand the roads, do roundabouts, turn lanes, and other features. And when that happens, we ask the utilities to relocate their utilities. And normally there's a cost sharing. If the utility is in our servitude, they pay to move it. If they're in their own private servitude, then we pay to move it. And we figure out where the poles are, and we do a cost share. DOTD does it the same way. That's the way it's always been. And Demco decided recently, with a change in management and change in legal, that the parish was going to pay. And they refused to move their poles and have drawn a line that they're not going to pay to relocate, that the parish has to pay. And we threatened them with litigation and with their franchise, and they turned around and sued the parish about a year ago. And we've done a lot of discovery. We've exchanged thousands of pages of documents. They're contesting whether we have servitudes on any of our roads, and so we're having to do a lot of abstract work. And they are and have dug their heels in. And we took a deposition of their right-of-way agent yesterday, who's been with them, had been with them previously for 45 years and has signed hundreds of, or lots of pages of documents and right-of-way agreements over the years, where he agreed in cost sharing, and he changed his tune and said those 60-something pages weren't cost sharing agreements. And so it's very contentious. We're headed towards trial, and I wanted to update you because something that Demco said yesterday is that they plan on going to the Public Service Commission and asking that the costs of this litigation get spread to the customers of Demco in Ascension Parish. And it was a threat, but it's kind of where they're at in this litigation. They're going to come, they sued the parish, and then they're going to go to the Public Service Commission and ask that the cost of the suit that they filed against us be spread to our citizens on their rate bill. And so I'm going to come back in the near future and ask for an ordinance that says if you're a utility in our servitude and we ask you to move because of these road projects, that you pay to move out of our servitude. And so I'm going to ask for an ordinance change on that in the future. I'm not asking you to vote on anything tonight. I'm just updating you. And then if they go to the Public Service Commission, I'm going to ask that this body appear and oppose, either through resolution or in person, and oppose this rate hike for litigation where they sued us. And that will be coming in the near future. I wanted to update you because it's getting contentious, and it's been a while since I've come to you. Again, I don't need you to vote on anything tonight. I'm just updating you, and I'll be back soon with some requested ordinance changes. Thank you.
All right. Moving along to item number 6, Personnel Committee recommendations. Mr. Cullen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had a meeting on July 23rd, and we have one reappointment for the Human Resources Board, Daniel Atkins.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Joseph, second by Ms. P.T. Any objection? Hearing none, so move.
And for the Library Board, we have Donna Dumas Whittington. It's a 5-year reappointment.
Motion by Mr. Arsenault, second by Ms. P.T. Any objection? Hearing none, so move.
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you there, Mr. Cullen.
You're welcome.
Would everybody please silence their phones? Item number 7, general business. Approval of the cooperative endeavor agreement between Ascension Parish, Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality and LA Alumina for closure plan of red dirt site. So we just received this yesterday. So it was a last minute amendment. So anybody, any questions, anything like that, we, I believe Mr. Robert will be, or Mr. President, and anybody will be happy to answer. Yeah, Ms. P.T., please.
Thank you, Mr. Robert. My question, basically reading through the cooperative endeavor agreement, it establishes LDEQ as the manager of that fund, that we were allowed to invoice as needed whenever we, do labor or whatever that may be. Is this something that will affect retroactively, and more specifically, we voted for a $200,000 allotment to start the environmental impact study to get it rolling? Are we going to be able to invoice for that based on this? Because I know it's not executed yet.
Yeah, Council PT, they always have been responsible to the fund. The CEA allows us to get them to pay us for our services, and yes, the conversations, and yes, they have told us that they believe that we can go back, and because we've kept all the receipts, we can prove the invoices, and it's part of our agreement to deliver that dirt to the site for cover. And so the answer to that is yes. We plan on being retroactive, as we stated when y'all approved that contract. So that is the plan. Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah, I appreciate it. That was my only question.
Any other questions? No? All right. Chair, entertain a motion.
Motion.
Got a motion by Mr. Hillensbeck and a second by Mr. Joseph for approval. Any objection? Hearing none? So moved. All right. 8A, public hearing ordinances. Reading of an ordinance, ordering and calling a special election to be held in the parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana on December 7, 2024 to authorize certain amendments to Home Rule Charter of the parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, to provide that the secretary and related staff be appointed by the parish council, and to delete the language governing authority members shall receive an annual salary not to exceed the maximum amount allowed for police jurors by state law, making application to the State Bond Commission, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Mr. Dupaty.
Thank you, Chair. Ordinance. An ordinance ordering and calling a special election to be held in the parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana on Saturday, December 7, 2024, to authorize certain amendments to the Home Rule Charter of the parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, making application to the State Bond Commission, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Whereas the Parish Council of the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, acting as the governing authority of the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, desires to order and call a special election to be held in the parish on Saturday, December 7th, 2024, to authorize certain amendments to the Home Rule Charter of the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, to provide for changes to the procedure for appointing the secretary and related staff as more specifically set forth in Exhibit B hereto, and to clarify the authority of the governing authority to set salaries as more specifically set forth in Exhibit C hereto, to be effective on March 1st, 2025. And now therefore be it ordained by the governing authority that Section 1, election call, subject to the approval of the State Bond Commission and under authority conferred by Article 6, Section 5, C of the Constitution of the State of Louisiana, 1974, as amended. Article 9, Section 903 of the Charter, the applicable provisions of Chapter 6A of Title 18 of the Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950, as amended, and other constitutional and statutory authority, a special election be, and the same is hereby called in order to be held in the parish on Saturday, December 7th, 2024, between the hours of 7 a.m. and 8 p.m., in compliance with the provisions of Section 541 of Title 18 of the Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950, as amended, and that at the said election there shall be submitted to all registered voters residing in the parish qualified and entitled to vote at the said election under the Constitution and laws of the State of Louisiana and the Constitution of the United States, the following propositions to wit. Proposition number 1, shall Articles 4 and 5 of the Home Rule Charter for the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, be amended to provide that Secretary and related staff shall be appointed by the Parish Council of the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, and shall serve at the pleasure of the governing authority. Such articles be amended as necessary as specifically described in summary on file at the Office of Governing Authority, in which proposed amendments are hereby incorporated herein by reference. Proposition number 2, shall Article 4, Section 404A of the Home Rule Charter for the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, be amended by deleting the language, governing authority members shall receive an annual salary not to exceed the maximum amount allowed for police juries by state law. Section 2, publication of the notice of special election pursuant to LARS 18:1285. A notice of special election concerning the election will be published in the Gonzales Weekly Citizen, a newspaper of general circulation within the parish, and is the official journal of the parish, sent once a week for 4 consecutive weeks, with the first publication to be made not less than 45 days, no more than 90 days prior to the date fixed for the election, which notice will be substantially in accordance with the notice of special election annexed here to as Exhibit A, incorporated herein by reference to the same extent as if it were set forth in full. Section 3, canvass of election returns. This governing authority will meet on Thursday, January 16, 2025 at 6 p.m. at the Ascension Parish Courthouse Council Meeting Room 607E, Worthy Street, Gonzales, Louisiana, and shall then and there in open public session proceed to examine the canvass, the official election returns, and declare the results of the said election pursuant to Section 1292 of Title 18 of the Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950 as amended. Section 4, polling places, commissioners. The polling places set forth in the attached notice of special election and situated within the boundaries of the parish, being same are hereby designated as the polling place at which to hold the said election in accordance with Section 1286A or Section 1286.1, as the case may be, of Title 18 of the Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950 as amended, and commissioners in charge and commissioners respectively will be those persons designated according to the law in accordance with Section 1286A or 12 or Section 1286.1, as the case may be, of Title 18 of the Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950 as amended. Section 5, designation of commissioners and commissioners in charge as required in LARS 18-1286B. The officers designated to serve as commissioners in charge and commissioners pursuant to Section 4 hereof will hold the election as herein provided solely in compliance with the provisions of Article Parts 2 and 5 of the Election Code as amended, and will make due returns of said election in accordance with the aforesaid provisions of the Election Code. The compensation of said officers be and same is hereby fixed at the sum prescribed by law. All registered voters in each precinct and residing in the parish are entitled to vote at the election. Section 6, authorization of the chairman. The chairman of the governing authority be, and he is hereby empowered, authorized, and directed to arrange for and to furnish election officers in ample time for the holding of said election, all equipment forms and other items which may be required in order to hold said election. Chairman of the governing authority is further authorized, empowered, and directed to take any and all further action required by state and or federal law to arrange for the election. Section 7, furnishing the election call in accordance with LARS 18:1285B1. Certified copies of the ordinance shall be forwarded to the Secretary of State, the Clerk of Court, and ex officio parish custodian of voting machines in and for the parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, and the registrar of voters in and for the parish, as notification of the election herein called in order that each may prepare for said election, perform their respective functions as required by law. Section 8, application to the State Bond Commission. Application B and the same is hereby formally authorized to be made to the State Bond Commission for consent and authority, hold, and the aforesaid election as herein providing that a certified copy of this ordinance shall be forwarded to the State Bond Commission on behalf of the governing authority, together with a letter requesting the prompt consideration and approval of such application. Section 9, publication. In accordance with Article 6, Section 602C2 of the Charter, this ordinance was published in full in the Gonzales Weekly Citizen, a newspaper of general circulation in the parish, which is the official journal of the parish prior to adoption. Section 10, implementation of charter amendments. If favorably approved by the voters, this charter amendment shall become effective and will be implemented without further action of the governing authority on March 1st, 2025. The chairman and secretary of the governing authority are hereby authorized and instructed to take any action as may be required to implement said amendments. Section 11, effective date. This ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its adoption. This ordinance having been submitted to a vote, the vote thereon was as follows.
All right, motion for public hearing? Got a motion by Mr. Alonso, a second by Mr. Hillensbeck. Motion to close by Mr. Hillensbeck, second by Ms. Spizzi. Motion to move the ordinance. I will remind everyone it does take 8 votes, right? So just a reminder. Did I have a motion? Motion by Mr. Arsenault, a second by Mr. OJ. Mr. Joseph. Any objection? Hearing none, so move. 8C, ordinance, ordering and calling a special election to be held in the parish, no, I'm sorry, that's the one we just voted on. Reading of an ordinance, declaring surplus and authorization of the sale and or transfer of miscellaneous movable equipment. Mr. Dupatti.
Purpose, to declare surplus and authorize the sale and or transfer of miscellaneous movable equipment, whereas the parish of Ascension has certain assets that are surplus and no longer viable to retain, whereas these assets no longer serve or have any public purpose, and whereas the parish of Ascension desires to declare said assets as surplus and provide the sale and or transfer of same, whereas be it ordained by the Ascension Parish Council acting in its capacity as governing authority that is hereby declares the listing of assets attached thereto and made a part hereof is Exhibit A as surplus and authorizes the sale and or transfer of same, severability in the event that any portion of this ordinance is ever held invalid or unconstitutional for any reason by any court of competent jurisdiction over it, such portion shall be deemed a separate, distinct, and independent provision and shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions of the ordinance. Effective date, this ordinance shall be in full effect permitted by law. This ordinance having been submitted to a vote, the vote thereon was as follows.
Motion to open public hearing by Mr. Arsenault, second by Ms. Spizzi.
Motion closed.
Motion to close by Mr. Joseph, second by Ms. Spizzi. Motion to move the ordinance by Mr. Arsenault, second by Mr. Hillensbeck. Any objection? Hearing none, so moved. I have a motion to adjourn by Mr. Hillensbeck,